Welcome in to Movin the Chains. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside John Epps here. We've got our round one playoff review special going on right now. John, the brackets came out Sunday. We were a little bit skeptical in the 4A bracket. What was going to happen with Ridgeview? How that situation to work out. But we know this is the answer to that now, so the brackets are official. A lot of great football in Week 10. You know, we saw a heck of a ball game there. South Florence proved to be the number one team in 4A. They were playing great football. And I think that was kind of the theme of the week. Like, some teams that we thought were really good proved to be really good. Like an AC4 looked really good. Northwestern came back, looked good. South Florence looked great. That was cool to see there. And then 1A, maybe the game of the weekend, Christchurch taking out Southside Christian. There's a late score. Just wild there. Lots of great football across the state there on Friday night in Week 10. We saw region titles wrapped up, playoff berths wrapped up, seedings, solidified. So that was a really cool stuff there we saw in Week 10. So this is you guys' first time tuning in. We really appreciate you. Check us out here on Facebook. Like, share, comment, do all that stuff. John and I do a live preview show every Tuesday night right around 7 o'clock. We'll have a round 2 next Tuesday. So definitely tune in for that. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at Movin Chains, MoveNChains. On Twitter, we do our Friday Night Spaces on Friday nights, basically a live scoreboard show. You guys are welcome to hop in and talk some ball with us. Know some of the game that you were at, talk about the game that we were at, things like that's really cool to do there. On Instagram, we post a lot of graphics and different things like that, so cool to check us out there. MovinChains.com is our website. We've got a message board on there. You can talk some trash. We've got all the region standings. We have the playoff brackets up there as soon as tomorrow, hopefully, as well. Our road trip, Players of the Week, lots of cool stuff on there. And then our podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, etc. Drill Henderson and I do a recap show on Sundays we put out to talk about the previous week. This show also goes on audio-only version of the podcast after too, so definitely check us out there and 5-star, subscribe, all that jazz. But lots of good stuff going on. Lots of interviews coming up in the playoffs as well. This is our Security Advantage Federal Credit Union preview show for round 1, John. But let's get going with our Kona games of the week here. Usually in round 1, you don't see a ton of great games. It's just it's not the biggest week because you get a lot of 1s, 4s, things like that. We've got a few big ones that are really standing up above the rest, I feel like.
Yeah, we talked about some of these regions, especially within 5A, where they are so strong.
Yeah.
And even though a team might be a 3 or a 4 seed coming out of some of those regions, boy, they're a good team.
Yeah.
They're a good team. We got some of those 2-3 matchups that are very interesting, where you could have a, quote, upset with a 3 seed on the road. The 1-4s, that's going to be a lot tougher.
Yep.
Those 1 seeds, those region champs, I feel like for the most part in 5A, they are very, very well deserved. There's not a ton of regions in 5A where it goes, well, gosh, anybody could have won that region.
Yeah, I agree with you, John. Let's get looking here. Our first Kona game, look at 5A matchup. Byrnes at Hillcrest. 2 really good football teams here. 7-3 Byrnes squad finished 4th in that region behind Gaffney, Dorman, Spartanburg. And then we've got Hillcrest, a 9-1 team. Their lone loss, a tight one there, a second half lapse against Hanna. They lose that one on the road. 2 really good football teams. Byrnes, a big win last year over Gaffney, big confidence builder, 30-21. They're already locked into that 4 seed, but still good to get some confidence going into the playoffs there. Hillcrest, 41-20 over GL, not too much there in that one. Byrnes averaging 36 points per game on offense, 17 on defense. Hillcrest, 42 on offense, 13 on defense. Byrnes, early in the year, John, started out 5-0. Took a couple losses there, had some injuries, but they kind of got back to their old selves last week. RJ Lipson's back healthy at running back there. They had some explosive plays from Kai Cook and Armani Weaver. They've got to have that. They looked like a really tough team last week against Gaffney.
And that is what you said last is the biggest part of that. We talked to Rob Brown a few weeks ago, talked about how this Byrnes team seems like they're close, but they haven't been able to close out games. They lost that very close game on the road to West Florence about halfway through the season. And then we've talked about Gaffney, the Indians, last few weeks, how they're playing their best football right now. And it may have been me that said, hey, other than, they've already beaten Dutch Fort once, they could be the team that could knock off the Silver Foxes again. And then Byrnes comes right on in at the reservation.
No, it was at Nixon Field.
It was at Nixon Field.
Yep.
Win 30-21. I mean, that is big time confidence for a very confident team to begin with. And to kind of get that confidence fully back going to the playoffs, that is really, really dangerous for this Hillcrest team. Hillcrest has been great all year. Had as you mentioned, the one stumble, but this is a dangerous game. I think this is going to be a really fun game to watch here. I like Hillcrest in this game, but boy, if Byrnes does what they did last week, I could see the Rebels advancing.
Yeah. So Byrnes last week, Colby Shaw 306, 4 touchdowns. Kai Cook 7 for 102 and 2 touchdowns. We were 2 for 89 and a touchdown. Bomar had a big pick on defense for those guys. Good Briggs and Fowler on that side of the ball. Hillcrest, Bennett Judy 259, 4 touchdowns last week. Avery McFadden 8 for 201 and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Neal had a big game. Logan Coulter had 2 received touchdowns last week as well. The running back. We talk about it all the time in their games for Hillcrest, John. They really get on your first and third quarter. They went up to a 28-0 lead the first quarter against Yale Man. Like, these guys come out hot, and that's a key for them, I feel like. Defensively led by Jones, Holiday, and Robinson. This is a game that should be really close, I think, honestly. It may come down to a big return by one side or the other. Kai Cook and Bomar Weaver, those guys are dynamic in that return game for Byrnes. Robinson's McFadden's a dynamic guy for Hillcrest on their return game.
He's arguably the best special teams guy in the state, in my opinion.
There are just athletes all over. It's going to be hard-pressed to find a game with better athletes in it than this one, I feel like, Friday night.
And, if Byrnes is moving, that offense is in a good groove, I think it's going to be hard for either team to really stop the other one.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see some points in this one. I was very impressed that Byrnes was able to put up 30 on a Gaffney team. We know how good that front seven is for the Indians. This is going to be a high score. This is going to be an exciting game, too. If you like scoring, this could be a really good game. A lot of weapons on the outside for both teams. This is going to be an exciting game. And this is a Byrnes team. Think about how they were talking about themselves early in the year.
Yeah.
They are a confident group. They believe they can make a good run. And especially coming off beating the hottest team in Upper State last week. This is a tough draw for the Rams here in the first round for sure.
No doubt about it. I do think I'm going to lean Hillcrest. I trust their defense a little more. The Byrnes defense, honestly, is kind of what it comes down to. I do like what Byrnes is doing offensively. They got it going last week. Livingston's a key. Having him healthy back at running back is big for those guys. So that was huge. But I think it should be a great ball game. We may be there. We'll see how that goes. But Hillcrest at home is tough. But it should be a lot of fun there, John. Our next Kona game of the week. Actually got a couple comments here before we move on to that next one. I know we had Bradley here talking about the Gaffney game. He said, don't know what happened to the Indians last week. Byrnes tipped his hat. He tipped his hat to Byrnes. Came back to that's not enough. Derek, what's up, guys? Dawkins should be back at Wellbrink this week. That's huge. Lakeview, a big win over Hampton last week to get a home game. Wellbrink's a tough team. Getting Dawkins back is big. He's a big playmaker for those guys at Lakeview.
That's a tough first-round matchup, too.
Yes, it is.
That is very tough.
Patrick says, terrible game for us last week. Yeah, Gaffney did not play their best, man. But, like we said, it didn't matter in the seeding, really. So, yeah, it's not the worst loss there. Kevron says, what's up, guys? Go Greg Collegiate. Hey, Kevron, good to see you, buddy. Bradley says, Byrnes want to watch out for sure. They certainly are. Certainly are, John. Let's look now at our second Kona game of the week, a 4A matchup here. A 5-5 York squad traveling to a 9-1 James Island squad. I feel like in the playoffs, John, to pull an upset, it's usually not like a 10-3 game. I feel like you got to score some points. You got to outscore a team.
Yeah.
And that's something York can do. They're averaging 31 points per game this year. They lost to South Pointe last week 33-13. The quarterback Aiden Davis, more of a runner than a thrower, had 92 yards on the ground last week and 2 touchdowns. Running back Javarius Guthrie doing a great job. The defense led by Tobias, Wagner, Stewart. Coach Dean Boyd's been in the playoffs several times, obviously Marlboro County now at York, knows how to coach in the playoffs. They're a hot team. But James Island, region champs down there, they beat Lucy Beckham 33-7 last week. They're averaging 44 game on offense, John, giving up 6.9 points per game on defense. This team under Coach Jamar McCoy is playing some great football. Correct. Liam Nixon, 2 touchdowns last week. Running backs Maxwell and Scott are doing great. Montre Scott is another weapon for them. Wide receiver Ravenel's getting plays for those guys. Defensively led by Chris Glover and Walker Woodall, 2 of the best players in that low country area there. And on top of that, John, this is their first home playoff game since 2000, which was Roddy White's senior year there for James Island. So the Trojans have a lot going in on their side, John. Huge for them. Does York have a shot in this ball game?
They have a shot, but what scares me about York, if you put these teams on paper, you go, York don't have a chance. And they have a chance, but the defense, York was playing good defense a year, 2 years ago. Gosh, they're having a hard time on that side of the ball, and that James Island defense on the other end has been so good all year. I don't see York being able to make enough stops in this game against James Island to win this game.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, how long's that bus ride got to be on Friday? And that's an odd one here in 4A where an upper state team gets the at-large bid and gets sent to the lower state 4A bracket. Very odd how that's working out there. That's a heck of a trip for York down to the Highland this week. But
I guess you got to cut to 77 and then.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. That's going to be weird.
Boy, that's a long way to go.
Yeah, I'm leaning James Island too, but it should be a fun matchup there. And congrats to Coach McCoy and the Trojans there. Great season so far for those guys.
Yeah.
Looking now at our next calling game, Luke John, another 4A matchup. South Pointe at Greer. This is one where the 3 seed is South Pointe, 7-3 on the year. The 2 seed is Greer at 4-6 on the year. I think this is one where the 3 seed is actually the favorite.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. South Pointe is the better team. But I tell you what, talk about one of our players of the week.
Well, Daniel Martin, huge game.
And we have seen his name multiple weeks on just video game numbers that he's put up. He is a tremendous player. And, you look at Greer, okay, yeah, they went 4-6. Yeah, Greer's not very good. They went 3-1 in the region.
Yeah.
And that, that region, you got a Riverside team that's got a lot of firepower that dropped down to 4A. A Lawrence team that's very tough. A Wade Hampton team.
It's getting better.
Played a lot better this year. And then you got Eastside in their head down here. Greer's playing some pretty good football right now. And Southside, gosh, ever since that South Pointe game, ever since that South Pointe game, they have really been disappointing and just haven't quite been what we expected the Stallions to be. I think South Pointe wins this game, but being under the water tower, I mean,
yeah,
they got to play some good run D. If they don't play good run D, Greer's got a good shot in this one.
Yeah, and they bounced back. For the last weeks, had a nice one over York, nice one over Indian Land, a couple other wins that really kind of got them going. Lately, because you talk about. That's such a down year. They still went 7-3. That's still a very good season for South Pointe. They're playing a super tough region, of course. Yeah. Last week, Malachi Marshall, 18 for 21, 262 and 4 touchdowns at quarterback spot there. They're more of a low-scoring team, only having 24 offensively, 19 defensively there. Running back Caleb Simmons had 110. Aiden Turner, running back, did a good job as well. Receivers Rawlinson and Kendrick both had 84 yards. Defense led by DJ Barksdale, my favorite player in the state, plays in both ways, a little bit really electric there. A.J. Miller, big-time D lineman, and then Reinhardt and Williams also. Coach Collins, they got that team playing better right now. Not as good as they were early, but still playing better. Greer on the other side, averaging 30 points per game, giving up 32 points per game. You mentioned Martin last week, 272 on the ground, 4 touchdowns, 26 through the air, another touchdown there. Quarterbacks kind of rotating, running around there. Watching Chase Byrnes, an athlete outside, and got to get him involved. But they're averaging 47 points the last 3 games. They've kind of got to figure out a little bit on the offense side. Just can they stop anybody? And, this is a matchup. They actually upset South Pointe on the road in round 1 3 years ago, 21-14. A lot of these South Pointe kids probably don't remember that, but that was a big deal when that happened. So we'll see how that goes. I think South Pointe's the favorite to win this ball game. But Greer, if they can put some points on the board early, hang around, they may have a shot, but I do like the Stallions here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty close game. I think this will be an exciting game, go to under the water tower. Greer's going to be excited for this game. I feel like, and I don't know exactly what the feeling is inside that locker room and within that program this year, but Greer's been a little bit down last few years. I think, I'd be really excited to be the way they finished the season for one, and then, hey, you get to host first-round playoff game, and the fact that you get to play South Pointe, I say you get to play South Pointe. Their team, this is a good situation for the Yellow Jackets. This is a team that came in as one of the favorites in 4A. They're still super talented.
Oh, yeah.
They're still very good. But this is a big-time game. If you can win this game, boy, you can really talk to these kids about, you can really talk them up about how good they are. And, hey, who knows what happens going forward. But I like South Pointe in this game a little bit. I think it'll be a close game, though.
Yeah, it should be a fun one in Greer, no doubt about it. A couple more comments. Daryl asked about Denmark Olar. Yeah, they got a big game this week. We'll talk about it here in a little bit. They played McCormick. Should be a fun one here in round 1. And Derek says Dawkins had an aunt pass away in a car accident, so we played a lot of raw emotion on Friday. Yeah, man, that's a tough situation there for Shahid. Definitely thoughts prayers of his family there. Hopefully he comes out and plays great for her on Friday night. Our next calling game of the week, John, a 1A matchup here. that we just talked about. Whale Branch at Lakeview. Whale Branch 6-4 on the year. Lakeview 7-3. Last week, Whale Branch lost to Bama 21-3. Lakeview defeated Hamco 40-32. Whale Branch averaging 26 offensively, 14 defensively. Lakeview averaging 32 on offense, 21 on defense. There, John. Lakeview at home's a tough place to go. Who do you like here in this ball game?
I like Lakeview in this game because they're at home.
Yeah.
If this game was in Whale Branch, I don't know who I would pick.
Yeah.
I don't know who I would pick. Whale Branch, they started out the season really, really hot. They were, they were in the prep media.
Yeah, very high in the poll.
Top 10 polls just about every week. They're a really good team. They're in a uber tough region.
Mm-hmm.
So, them being a 3 seed, again, this is kind of a false 3 seed.
Yeah.
They are very, very good. They may be the best 3 seed in 1A. So Lakeview, bit of a tough draw having to get them. But the fact they get them at home, and again, it's a long ride.
Yeah.
It's a long ride from down Beaufort County up to Lakeview. I like Lakeview in this ball game, but they got to buckle down a little bit on defense.
Yeah.
They got to buckle down a little bit.
Yeah, Will Brandt's kind of doing some rotating at quarterback there. The Bowers kid's a little more of a passer, but then Ja'Kai Push is more of a runner, so they kind of get them both involved somewhat there. Defense led by Thompson, Allen, McVeigh, and Evans. They need a big game from the wide receiver Garrett. Got to find a way to get him involved. He's a playmaker out wide for those guys. Lakeview, last week one of our players of the week, Logan Jones. Huge game, 3 rushing touchdowns, a receiving touchdown, and a pick 6 in that win over Hamco. They needed all of those points too. Huge game from him. Like we mentioned with Derek earlier, Shaheed Dawkins should be back this week. The defense is playing a little better lately. They held that Lamar team 2 weeks ago to 14.
Yeah,
a game they could have won. Weren't quite able to do it there. But like I said, this is probably the premier matchup in 1A in round 1 here. I like Lakeview at home as well, but this is a team, I think whichever one of these teams wins could go a little run here in the playoffs.
I certainly think so. Both of these teams are going to be 2 teams that nobody's going to want to face.
Yeah.
Lakeview's got a lot of firepower. Whale Branch is a really good team. You think you got to break with a 3 seed? No,
not at all.
Not with these guys. I agree with you there. I think the winner of this game could make a bit of a run.
Yeah, Derek says the Jones kid stepped up and had a very good game, came out of nowhere to be an explosive player, smart utility guy who's a team player, so at home couldn't get you over the top sometimes. Exactly right, man. Playing at home in the playoffs, no matter what round it is a huge, huge plus. And now our final Kona game week, our skis game week, John, a 4A matchup here. Trinity Collegiate traveling to Ben Lippen, 5-6 Trinity versus 8-2 Ben Lippen. Trinity Collegiate shut out Lawrence Manning last week, 28-0. Big win for those guys there. Ben Lippen had actually a forfeit against Camden Military. They won that ball game two weeks ago. They beat Augusta Christian 13-12. What's fun about skis sometimes, John, you see all these teams play already in the regular season. Ben Lippen beat Trinity 56-22 just a few weeks back in the regular season. Trinity's got some athletes. Quarterback Carter Hardy had 119 passing yards and a touchdown last week, 133 rushing yards and 2 more touchdowns. Bryson Scott and Trey Leonard are really good playmakers, run the ball and catch the ball for them. The defensively led by Herbert and Powell. Ben Lippen, they've won 5 games in a row now. Quarterback Dobson Ricks, 15 for 16 2 weeks ago. Quarterback Bryce Kraft had 26 for 169 2 weeks ago. Wide receiver Bo Morris, 9 for 130. Defense led by Essex Johnson, Helma Dollar, and Connor. You want to lead Ben Lippen because they've already beat these guys pretty handily. But Trinity has some really good athletes. And that game last week over Lawrence Manning was very impressive. I think it's a Lawrence Manning team that was 7-2. Shutting them out was a big win there for the Titans.
I love Ben Lippen in this game because they destroyed.
Yeah.
They beat them up. But Trinity has some confidence. If Trinity comes in, if they're able to get on the board first, get an early lead, Ben Lippen could be in trouble.
Yeah.
Because of that, all the athletes they got. They can play. Ben Lippen needs to make sure, I think the primary goal for them, score first.
Yeah,
I like score first. I think you get everybody, not just your team, that Trinity sideline too, going, oh yeah,
here we go again.
This is that team that kind of took us to the woodshed. But if Trinity scores first, look out, could be a really big ball, a really close ball game, could go their way. I like Ben Lippen though, especially at home.
Yeah, the running back Bryce Kraft, one of my favorite players in season. But last time they played, John, he had 213 in that first game. So he's really gotten it going. I do want to give another shout out to Coach Weigel at Ben Lippen. They're doing a great job. This is a team that won 1 game last year, John. Wow. Now sitting at 8-2. A high seed in the playoffs in 4A, making a real run for state. It'll be fun to see what they can do. So I'm leaning Ben Lippen as well in this ball game, John. But that's our final Kona game. We've got Byrnes at Hillcrest. York at James Island, South Pointe at Greer, Whale Branch at Lakeview, and Trinity Collegiate at Ben Lippen for our skis of the game of the week. Let's give a couple shout-outs right quick before we move into the 5A playoff bracket here. Security Advantage Federal Credit Union. They offer much lower loan rates and don't charge the fees other banks do. Whatever your personal journey, they're there to offer you smart financial solutions. Join today at securityadvantagesu.com. securityadvantagesu.com. Win a banking, thrive life. Member NCUA. Our friends at the George Agency, serving insurance needs to on over 40 years. Open enrollment's now here as of today. If you guys don't have insurance through your job, maybe you're a seasonal worker, whatever it is, check them out at georgeagency.net. They don't charge you to work with you. They just help you get the best deal possible for your insurance. Or if you're a small business owner as well, they can help you out with some group insurance too. They have clients in Rock Hill, Greer, Greenville, Aiken, Columbia, the Beach, wherever you are, they can help you out. The georgeagency.net, Bradley Wayne, Richard, and the crew there. Kona, our games of the week here. They offer a synergistic approach to the spine, skeletal system, nervous system, and supporting structure and total quality care for optimal health. 3 locations in Spartanburg, Duncan, and Greenville. That's Kona.care, Kona.care. And then our stock up, stock down from Founders Federal Credit Union. Get your head in the game with Founders Federal Credit Union. COI Founders membership can elevate your financial game. Train financial skills with our wide array of financial tools and services. Visit RelaxFounders.com today. See if you qualify for membership. Relax with Founders Federal Credit Union. And then Hanna Engineering, our pick'em, brought to you by those guys we'll get to here in a little bit, John. But let's take a look now at 5A. You want to start at the 5A bracket first?
Yeah.
Let's look at 5A. Let's take a look at the 5A bracket, go through that, make a couple comments here, and then maybe even at the end of it say who some sleepers are, some things like that as we kind of go through here. All right. Let's see if I've got it pulled up, or do you want to go? You got it?
Yeah, I can go.
Yeah, okay. You got it. Go for it. Yeah.
So we'll start at the top of the bracket, and we'll go down. So this is a 1 versus 4 matchup. You got TL Hanna as the 1 seed. They will be hosting White Knoll. White Knoll.
I tell you what, John. I could see an upset right here. I think TL Hanna is not as good as some previous teams they've had the last few years. White Knoll can put points on the board. Landon Shark's a really good quarterback there. Couple good receivers out wide. Coach Pelham's doing a good job. That's a team that was 6-0. Don't forget. Kind of stumbled down the stretch against River Bluff, Lexington, and Dutch Fork, of course. But
really good region.
Very good football teams. Yeah. So I think White Knoll has a chance to do something special here. And TL Hanna too didn't play last week. We had a bye in week 10. Odd there for Coach Tone and the boys. But if they get Latimer going early, they should win. It's a tough defense or tough offense to prepare for. TL Hanna is, of course. I like the Yellow Jacks. This could be a close ball game here.
I don't know that it's going to be very close.
You don't think so?
I think TL Hanna, they have been, they find ways to win games.
Yep.
You know, we talked about the Hillcrest game a few weeks ago. Didn't really think that was going to be a super competitive game. I thought maybe a 10-14 point game. I thought Hillcrest would light up the scoreboard.
Yep.
Hanna finds a way to get some turnovers, rattle the Rams a little bit, win that ball game. They're 9-1.
Yeah.
The only loss they have is that game that I just one loss.
It's a rivalry game, you know that West Side never know what happens there in the rivalry game.
It's shit. I can't explain it. I still don't know if it happened.
Yeah.
I saw that move at Martinsville, Ross Chastain. I can't believe that happened.
Shocked.
Similarly,
Shocked.
I need to see video of this West Side Hanna game to make sure. I'm not sure that happened. This team I'm not say it easily because they got whooped.
They just find a way to win.
But they're just winning ball games, and that is TL Hanna's never been flashy.
No.
You know, they've had guys like Zach Pickens roll through it, and those guys, you know, they shake the ground when they make a hit. But this Hanna team's just good.
Yeah.
They're just good, and you look at their quarterback play. They do a very good job. They're very clean. They know what they're doing. They run it well. I like them in this ball game. White Knoll's, this is a tough 4 seed for Hanna. This is a very good 4 seed in this White Knoll group. Coming out of a great region. I'm buying into TL Hanna.
I like it. Zach had a comment. We're going to 3A yet. No, 3A will be in a couple. We're doing 5A right now first, Zach, and we'll get them there in a minute.
And then we go down. So the winner of this game will play the winner of Spartanburg as a 2 seed, hosting 3 seed Nation Ford.
Yep, not much there in that. I don't feel like Spartanburg team is playing good ball. Had a nice number doing them last week. Raheem Jeter. Big game, 5 touchdowns. Wasn't in the best of health. Was a little bit sick on the way, but big game for Spartanburg. Playing some good football over there for sure under Coach Hodge.
Yeah, Vikings are a really good team. Another group that came through a very tough region. They are a very good 2 seed. You look at Nation Ford, not a great club. They came out of a weaker region as the 3 seed. But one thing to note in this game, Carson Black, quarterback for Nation Ford. He is a highly touted senior coming out of Nation Ford. He's actually a Memphis commitment, so very good quarterback on the sidelines for Nation Ford. Would be fun to see him play what he can do against the Spartanburg team. Spartanburg defenses can be vulnerable, but I think the Vikings roll in this one.
Great. Chris says, what's up? What's going on, Chris? Good to see you, buddy. We'll get to your Gaffney matchup here in a minute here in the 5A talk for sure.
Moving on, we got obviously a 1 seed Dutch Fork. They will be hosting the 4 seed Malden.
Dutch Fork playing great football. Malden, they got a nice win to make the playoffs. So good job for Coach Naismith. They're a younger team. They're trying to get things going, but Dutch Fork just they're going to cruise for a few rounds here, I feel like.
I think so. The only thing I'm interested in this game is that Malden defense. The Malden defense has been playing pretty good second half of the season. I don't think it's going to be enough to make a difference in the Dutch Fork game, but I don't know. I want to hold out some hope. I want to hold out a little bit of hope. So we'll see. But that's for Dutch Fork being number 1 team in the state. You could draw on a little bit of an easier 4 seed than the Mavericks. They're playing decent football right now. They will play the winner of Clover, 2 seed, hosting the 3 seed Dorman. Woo.
Dorman, a team that is trending in the wrong direction. They played Malden tough to a point a couple weeks ago. Beat Byrnes by 3 a couple weeks ago. Lost to Gaffney 2 weeks ago. Lost to Spartanburg last week. Not playing great right now, but they are playing a Clover team they beat earlier in the year by a couple scores. So I think Coach Curtis gets the team up and ready to roll there. I think they win this game on the road.
I think so too. This Dorman team, we know what they've got. They're really, really good. They can run the ball very well, and they're 8-2.
Yeah, the health of DJ Porter is a question. He went out for a little bit last week. If he's back and healthy, I certainly like those guys. If he's out, much tougher task, but I do like the other Cavs.
Yes. And then moving on from that game, we got Gaffney as the 1 seed. They'll be hosting and the way that the brackets work out, you have a couple 5 seeds, where we have here. Rock Hill, the Bearcats, will be the 5 seed in this game. I know Gaffney took it on the chin, but they didn't have anything to lose.
Yep.
Really, other the rivalry, yeah. But from a playoff perspective, they didn't have a ton to play for.
Yeah.
I think they roll in this one.
No doubt. And I feel like I remember Gaffney playing Rock Hill 4 out of the last 5 years. I feel like the first round of the playoffs. I don't know what it is. It seems like Gaffney Rock Hill is like a first round matchup that's stuck in my head for the last couple years. But anyway, they're going to roll. Rock Hill stinks. Quarterback's not bad. The Wilson kid do like him. But Gaffney, a much better football team. They'll get right this week.
Years ago, they used to be the same region.
Yeah.
That used to be a murderer's row region with those guys. I think Cheshire was in that region. I think it was like Gaffney, Rock Hill, maybe Northwestern.
Probably Northwestern was in there probably, yeah.
And Cheshire got to see all their homecomings. They were kind of the doormat in that region at the time. And then the winner of that game, they will get the winner of JL Main as a 3 seed hosting Spring Valley.
JL Main, a team, great for them. I haven't made the playoffs since early 2000s, early 2010s. It's been a long time there for Coach Watson. Hats off to those guys. And a fun offense there that he runs with Anderson and Clellan and Cates and those guys there. Spring Valley team, I had high hopes for going into the year under Coach Robin Bacon there. Evan Jarvis is a good player at the running back spot for those guys. Coach Bacon knows how to coach in the playoffs. Robin Bacon, that is. He's been there before. I like Jim to win a playoff game here, John. I'm a little worried they get too much caught up. Might get caught up in the hype of beating the playoffs first time forever. But I think Coach Watson gets to figure. I think they win that ball game. Couple comments here. Chris says, Gaffney should roll. Said, Dorman win anything, find a passing game. Spartanburg rolls. He says, he play Rock Hill last year in the first round. So maybe that's what I'm thinking about it. It used to be Gaffney, Rock Hill, Northwestern Union, Spartan Dorman, and it alternated between Chester and Byrnes.
Union.
One more comment. Kenneth Hicks says, what about last week's game, South Florence versus West Florence? Yeah, a wild one that we were all at. Go check out our recap show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. So we had a Week 10 recap show. Broke that game down. We'll talk about other teams here in 4A as well in a minute, John.
Yeah, those Bruins are good. So we got Blythewood will be the 1 seed. They will be hosting Boiling Springs in their first round matchup. I know we're not super high on Blythewood, not big on the Bengals. I think this could be a close game.
I do too.
But I like Blythewood in this game. I think Boiling Springs can be very competitive in this fall game.
Yeah, if I had to pick a one seed to an upset alert, it's T.L. Hanna and it's Blythewood. I mean, those are the two that I can say, hey, you guys got to be careful here. Boiling Springs first year coach Matt Reel doing okay. They've had a couple nice wins. They're a young team building something there. but Blackwood should win this game under Coach Seidel at home.
And what makes that interesting, you got the winner of this game will be linked up with the winner of that Hillcrest Byrnes game next week.
Yes.
So Hillcrest would go on the road.
Yep. Both whoever wins that Byrnes, Hillcrest can go on the road to Blackwood.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's interesting. You could have two upsets right there in that little bracket. And that rounds out the upper state bracket, or upper side of things. Top of the lower state bracket, you've got the 1 seed Sumter Gamecocks. They will be hosting Chapin. Chapin, they were in a tough region this year. With, River Bluff, White Knoll, Dutch Fork, Lexington. But they're just not very good. They lost some playmakers last year. They're just not very good. Sumter, in the bracket, the lower state bracket, probably the best team in the lower state bracket. I think they win pretty easily.
Yeah, should be like a contest here this week.
And then they will face the winner of Cane Bay and Ashley Ridge. Cane Bay, the host in that one, a 2-3 matchup. Like Cane Bay in this one, but Ashley Ridge has had a good season.
Yeah, both teams have played well. Cane Bay's kind of on the radar. I think the Cobras win this one, but Ashley Ridge has had a few nice ones. I think they finished 7-3, so there's nothing to sneeze at there for them. But I do like what Cane Bay's doing. They got a good program that the Cobras do. They have one loss in Region 2, Goose Creek, but they're playing good football.
Yeah, Goose Creek team really turned it on. We'll talk about them here in a second. They really turned it on. Then you got Somerville as a 2 seed. Great season for the Green Wave. They have really turned things around. They will be hosting Conway. The Conway team has been playing a little bit better. Somerville's the better team on this one. Green Wave should win this one.
Yeah, I had high hopes for Conway when they beat Myrtle Beach earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Didn't really follow up the quarterback, the Granger kid's a good player for them, but I still like Somerville on that one.
And then the winner of that game will take on the winner of Lexington hosting Wando. Lexington, I was disappointed what happened in that Dutch Fork game. I was hoping that it was going to be a lot closer game. But Lexington, they're still very good. I think that's indicative of how good Dutch Fork is too. Not so much a slag on Lexington. This is going to be a game where the Wildcats should bounce back really well. They should be able to win this first round game. It was a 2 seed. They already a good 2 seed. And then the winner, or actually breaking down from that, we'll have Goose Creek as the 1 seed. They will host West Ashley. Like Goose Creek in that game. Goose Creek, they only won 4 games this year. Every single region game.
Yeah.
They won when it counted. So I like them to win this ball game. They're playing good football right now. And West Ashley, hey, great making.
Had a good year. Coach Kiefer there, the head coach of the Green Sea Floyd's team that won state a couple years back. So he's got experience in the playoffs. Had a pretty good defense this year. Couldn't score a lot of points. What really hurt him there.
Yeah.
Kind of really struggled in region play. I like Goose Creek. Drew Moore, their quarterback, doing a great job. I like what they've got.
Hey, Goose Creek got to play some defense. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing that does scare me a little bit. West Ashley has played a good defense this year. They can score a little bit. That Goose Creek D has been a little bit lenient.
Yep.
So that could be what they need to pull an upset. But Goose Creek should win this ball game. Moving on from there, the winner of that game, they will play the winner of Carolina Forest hosting River Bluff. Carolina Forest a 2, River Bluff a 3. And here's another one where we see a 2-3 matchup. And if you told me, now, Aaron, we know how the regions work, but let's ignore that we do. If you said Carolina Forest, River Bluff first round, go, okay, yeah, that'll be a good win at home for River Bluff.
Yeah.
River Bluff's the better team in this. Carolina Forest playing better football.
Yes.
But I like River Bluff in this ball game. Really like Parker
Murray, quarterback.
Parker
Cooper Johns,
Murray.
running back. Yeah.
Really like what he does back there. Johns is a good, tough runner.
Yep.
You wear the tackle when you tackle him.
Yeah.
You are. He's gonna make you feel it.
Kind of two contrasting styles there. River Bluff really wants to ground and pound with Cooper Johns. Carolina Forest wants to air it out with Scott Saylor. I think they're 400+ yards last week there. Carolina Forest's been up and down. They played South Florence tight. Yeah. They played Oceanside kind of tight there. Don't have any signature wins, really, I would say. They've got a chance to pull this one off at home. Coach Morris is a good playoff coach there. I don't love the way the River Bluff finished the season, honestly. Had a non-competitive game against Lexington, which really surprised me there a couple weeks ago. I think Carolina Forest has a good shot to win this game at home, honestly.
Yeah, and River Bluff kind of got it back on track last week. They took out that frustration on Chapin, put up 70 in that ball game. I think that's what they needed.
Yeah,
they needed that to kind of remind themselves, hey, we can't play, we can't score points, we are a pretty good team. But it could be. You're right. They faltered a little bit down the stretch, but I like River Bluff in this game to pull the. I wouldn't call it an upset, but by the book, get a little bit of a 3-2 upset here. And then on the bottom of the bracket, you've got Fort Dorchester as the 1 seed, hosting Stratford. Osborne back.
He's back to
Fort
playing Dorchester.
Dorchester. That's all you need to know. That's
Yeah.
all you need to know for this one, I think. I like them in this ball game. Stratford played a little bit better football going down the stretch. They were not really on the radar at the beginning of the year. They played a little bit better, gotten into the playoffs. But I think Fort Dorchester will have a pretty easy roll in this one.
Yep.
And then they will play the winner to close out the 5A bracket. St. James will be hosting Berkeley.
Yeah, as far as looking like, if you're looking like an upset or team to make a run here, I think the 2 games we mentioned, John, is kind of our games of the week in the 5A. I think the winner of Hillcrest Byrnes has a good shot to beat Blythewood or Golden Springs next round.
Oh,
I like that team.
I think the winner of that game is going to win the next.
I agree. And then I think in the lower state, I think the winner of Carolina Forest River Bluff is going to do the same thing. I think they're going to beat the winner of Goose Creek West Ashley and make a little run also.
Okay.
That's who I like there. As far as favorites go, upper state, I mean, you can draw out of a hat. There's 15 of them, it feels like. There's not. But lower state, I love Fort D. I think Fort D and Sumter are the 2 favorites. I like Fort D the most. I like those guys. Upper state, John, last week you probably would have said Gaffney. They didn't play great. Now it's like maybe it flips back to Dutch Fort.
Well,
I don't know.
There's an index card in that hat of little papers.
Yeah, it's you could pick a TL Hanna team that lost once, Hillcrest lost once, a Byrnes team and a Spartanburg team that have so much talent as well. 5A is going to be fun in upper state for sure, John. But any other thoughts on that bracket before we look down at 4A?
Yeah, I think Sumter's my favorite in the lower part of that bracket, and I gotta go with Dutch Fort. What they've done the last few weeks against some quality competition, not even a game worth staying 3 quarters for. Really, just destroy good football teams. I like the Silver Foxes, but I will say my sleeper, I think, going into this 5A bracket, and maybe it's not even really a sleeper, I'm saying TL Hanna.
Yeah, that offense is tough to prepare for. Like we said every year. It really is. That wing T, you don't see a lot of that anymore, especially at the 5A level. So it certainly could make some noise there.
And they've got home field advantage would have for the first 2 weeks. First 2 games. That's going to be a big advantage for if they can win this week. Could be a big advantage next week as well. I like TL Hanna to make a little bit of a run for it.
Yeah, before we get into 4A, a couple comments. Zach says, works with the kid that plays at Dormer, says the main problem is QB spot. I agree there. Chris says Sumter and Fort D should be the battle for the lower state. He also picks Berkeley to beat St. James. That would be a surprise to me. I don't think Berkeley's very good. But we'll see, John. But let's take a look now at 4A. You got that pulled up, or do you need me to go through it?
Yeah,
You got it?
yeah, we
Awesome.
got ready to rock and roll here.
Let's do 4A.
So we will start with the upper state, top of the bracket again. You've got Greenville will be hosting Aiken. Actually saw Greenville out on the practice field earlier today, running around getting prepared. Love Greenville, love the Red Raiders in this game. Aiken has been, I don't really know how to.
They're not good.
Put my finger.
That's
on
all it is. They're not good.
John.
They're not good.
They won 1 game.
They're not good.
They're not in a good
John,
region.
just say they're not good. Just say it.
They're not good.
They're not good.
I think they're gonna lose this one.
Yeah, that's not gonna be close. It's not gonna be close.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. Going down from that, winner of this game, Greer's, we've talked about.
One of our games of the week.
Hosting South Pointe. South Pointe should win that game. We'll see. And then this is a fun team to watch for. Catawba Ridge will be hosting Riverside. Riverside going down from 5A to 4A this year. I like the Copperheads in this game.
Yeah, a costly loss for Riverside in overtime last week. That overtime loss to Greer put them they were in the 1 seed, so I dropped to 3 seed because of all the tiebreakers there. The offense can score. Rob Sanders can do a good job there. Looking at Catawba Ridge, they had a tough loss last week to Northwest. They had a 17-point lead and blew it in that game. Couldn't hold it. They're a young squad. Coach Slim Dyke's doing a good job there. Riverside can put up some points. I still like Catawba Ridge here close. But it should be a sneaky good game there, I think, in round 1.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. If Riverside, if that offense is rolling, it could be. Like the way that Sanders can throw that ball around for them. Catawba Ridge is really good.
Yeah,
they are really, really good. I think they win this game by a couple scores.
Yep.
Winner of that game, they will play the winner of North Augusta and Easley. North Augusta getting to host that game against Easley. It's a pretty exciting game.
This could be a fun one. Yeah. I feel like North Augusta is a better team. They started off really slow. Did not have a lot of luck in non-region play. But they ran the table in the region. Looked a lot better lately with quarterback Colson Brown, Taylor Washington outside, DJ Curry, Jaden Easton, and those guys. Easily, Caleb Sutton, their quarterback, is the type of player that can just win you a ball game. He's that good. He's that dynamic, that electric. Coach Durr's doing a great job there. I'm going North Augusta at home, but this could be a sneaky good football game.
I'm going Easley.
Okay. Cool. The Green Wave upset. I like it.
I could see Sutton having a big game in this one. I think Easley they've improved so much this season. And even going on the road, I like a talent like Sutton. That travels. I'm picking Easley on the upset here. And that rounds out the upper state side of it. And just the way the seeding works, a couple teams kind of bounce around a little bit. You have your at-large bids. I'm sorry, we're still in upper state. Ignore me.
I was about to say, okay. That's
we got
like
a whole
four
other
games.
I'm looking at it like it's second round already.
Yeah, a couple of comments. Zach said that offense Greer was favored in any game. James says go Stallions. Yeah. And we actually talked about that game in our games of the week. James, if you missed it, it'll be at the beginning of the show. You can go tune back to that. Said go Wade Hampton, go beat those Trojans. Yeah, we'll get to that Wade Hampton game in a minute. It'll be a fun one. Then Danger says Louisville. Yeah, we'll get to the Lions in 1A here in a minute as well, Danger. Let's finish out upper state 4A here, John.
So you got West Side will be hosting Midland Valley, a Midland Valley team that's played
getting better. I think just too much offense for the Rams. It feels like.
Yeah. I think West Side they've got some marquee wins. T.L. Hanna. If they can play some little bit of defense, I like to see that West Side team play a little bit better defense. But I like them in this ball game. I think they win that one. Next, winner of that game will face the winner of Lawrence hosting Indianland. Interesting ball game here. Indianland has played some good football. Lawrence was able to get the tiebreaker to win that extremely tight region that they are in.
Yep. Indiana team started off really hot, kind of faltered down the stretch a little bit there. Lawrence, the team, was kind of opposite. They started off really slow. I had them stocked down several weeks in a row. They lost their quarterback, actually got better somehow there, playing better football. They got Casey Elledge out wide, a really good receiver there. I think Indiana pulls the upset here, though, John.
I'm going to go with Lawrence because they're at home. They got to buckle down defense a little bit. They're giving up a lot of points this year. They need to buckle down a little bit. Then you got South Aiken. The stuff they're all here. South Aiken will be hosting Greenwood. A Greenwood team that I think very highly up, but they have not been very good the last few weeks. So, getting back
B. Morton.
Running back B. Morton. But they just haven't. I thought they were going to make a pretty big jump up, and they haven't taken a step back a little bit.
Yeah, laid an egg against both Greenville and Westside in late region play, which really surprised me to not win one of those games. South Aiken, we know that the offense with Smith and Edwards, they can score on anybody. He had 200-plus rushing yards game last week. The quarterback did. I think the running back had like 195. It's nuts. It's just going to make any stops. I think they score one more time than Greenville. I think they win a shootout here.
I think so, too. I like South Aiken getting to play this game at home. I think that could be the difference maker in a tight ball game. And now rounding out the upper state, you'll have Northwestern hosting Wade Hampton. Congrats to the Generals on making the playoffs, winning a ball game, and then making the playoffs.
Yep.
Awesome season for those guys. That's great for them. But I think the season ends Friday. Northwestern is very, very good.
Yeah, congrats Coach Miller and that team. They played better, so they've won a few ball games, really. Northwestern played a great game last week. They started off really slow, had a couple interceptions that kind of let Tubbers get to an early lead. But the defense is kind of maybe a little bit of a slower side for them. It's played better the last week. It's played really good last week for them against Coleridge. The defense is getting better at the right time. We know the offense can score. Trevor Richard and those guys there. I like Northwestern to roll here Friday.
Moving down to the lower state, you have AC Flora, the 1 seed for lower state. They will host Wilson. It's a tough 1-4 draw.
It is. Wilson, they really lit up the scoreboard earlier in the year with Butler out wide and Eccles at quarterback there. Had a few bad games, got smoked by South Florence. Who hasn't? But they didn't even score in that ball game. Got taken advantage a couple times defensively there. They've got the firepower to make it interesting, but I think, Markel Talon and those guys are too much there at AC4.
Yeah, that Wilson offense can light it up, but so have a lot of the teams that played Wilson too. and AC Florida, boy, they have got all the talent on that side of the ball. It's a bad combination for a good Wilson team, just a bad combination for them. I think AC Florida, they roll. Yeah. I think they can score as much as they want in this ball game. Winner of that game is going to play the winner of Hartsville hosting Lucy Beckham. Hartsville's had a little bit of an up and down season, really, but I like the Red Fox to win this one pretty handily, actually.
Yeah, the way the bracket works, there's actually 2 3 seeds playing each other here. Hartsville will be hosting this one. You know, Jason Anderson can run the game, and Kendrick Douglas from that offense. They're 3-headed monster running the ball there for those guys. Lucy Beckham, first year playing varsity football, a 3 seed. Hats off to Coach Smith and the Bengals. That's awesome to hear from them. You know, had a tough loss last week to James Island, but a game they were in had a pick six, really a backbreaker there late, and they were kind of driving to try to tie it up or make it a little closer there. I like Hartsville as well, but that's a fun ball game. Always fun to watch a game in Kellytown. So I like the Red Foxes there.
Yeah. Moving on from that, you've got West Florence will be hosting Lugoff Elgin.
You smell an upset?
No, I don't. West Florence, we saw they have talent. You know, we saw them last week in that South Florence game. They got talent. They can play. South Florence is just that good.
Yeah.
But West Florence is good. West
Florence
can play. Lugoff Elgin's had a great season to make the playoffs. They have, last few years, been putting up goose eggs in the W column, or a 1, maybe a 2 a few years ago. Great to be in the playoffs. They know what it's like to get their butt kicked by West Florence, and I think it happens again.
Yeah, West will bounce back. Nice win, kind of a get-right game for those guys. A comment from Nathan says, we talked about the Daniel Line Invitational. No, that's 3A's coming up next, actually. We're on 4A now. We'll go to those guys next, John. But let's finish out 4A Lower State here first.
You got May River will host Myrtle Beach. Not a matchup we thought we would hear at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, you know, that Region 6 4A got thrown for a loop last week. Myrtle Beach beating Myrtle Beach. They actually clinched the automatic berth, put Myrtle Beach and Wilson in at-large spots there. Myrtle Beach has got the talent to win this game if they can get it going offensively. I can't trust them. They've been up and down all year. Yeah. I like May River in this ball game. Myrtle Beach just cannot seem to get it figured out week in, week out.
Yeah, this is a game, I'm just like you. I'm scared to pick Myrtle Beach. I think May River wins this game. They should win this game. They're at home. But if we're coming home Friday and we're looking at the score and Myrtle Beach wins by 10, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Not surprising.
They're playing good football. You know, and they can certainly do it, and I don't think it would be oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What kind of upset do we have here? We've got, moving down into the bracket, Irmo will be hosting North Myrtle Beach, an Irmo team that's had a quietly good season. As soon as we think, Irmo's going to be really good, then they drop the game.
Yeah, you know, and speaking of, you mentioned earlier the Ridgey situation. With that, you know, disqualification, Irmo bounces up a spot, Lugoff bounces up a spot, Westwood goes up a spot. So all these teams move up a line from where they would have been. So it's a big there for Coach Brand and the Yellow Jackets to get a much better seed and play North Myrtle Beach team. They should be able to handle, because North Myrtle Beach is not very good. You know, they shocked their rival last week. This should be honestly a cakewalk for the Yellow Jackets.
Irmo should win this game pretty handily. We're talking about North Myrtle team that's only won 2 games this year. Irmo should win this game. It seems like a lot of good luck is going in favor of the Yellow Jackets. And I also want to mention, while we're talking about Irmo, you got to help me on the name.
Nick Emanwari, yeah.
He has been doing phenomenal this year for the Gamecocks in Pointe. I believe he leads the team in tackles.
I think so.
He has been very, very good. Love to see him do well in his hometown. That's great to see.
Yep.
Love to see that. The winner of this game will play the winner of one of the games we talked about earlier, James Island hosting York. We both like James Island in that ball game. That'll be a game. Expect to see those guys win. Moving down from that, we'll have Westwood hosting Bluffton. Westwood, a team we had higher hopes for.
Yep.
Coming into the season. They're only 3-7. You talk about they're in that Ridgeview region.
Yep. They get to kick up a spot there with that Ridgeview situation. Bluffton, a good team. Jalen Linder there is a really good player for the Bobcats. That's a long drive for Bluffton and Westwood, man. I think Coach O'Connell and the guys can get a win at home. A really big program builder for them. You know, had a lot of tough times this year, but they've got some talent. Noah Jennings, those guys. I like the Red Hawks here to win this one at home.
I'm going to go Westwood, but I really don't have a good feeling about this.
Yeah. It's a tough one. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to call there.
I think the winner of this game will always celebrate go nuts, have a blast, because it's probably going to be the only one you win in the playoffs. Because they get matched up with South Florence playing Richmond Northeast.
Yeah, Bruins clear number one team after last week. You could make a case for AC4, I guess. I like the Bruins. They've beaten every challenge they've had. They've knocked off the Oceanside team. They knocked off, West Florence. They knocked off everybody they played. South Pointe destroyed those guys. They're a really good football team with Lenore Sellers there. Coach Marlowe does a great job. South Florence wins this game. They got to be the favorite. Probably, certainly in the lower state, if not the whole state here for it.
Oh, for sure. R&E got into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Great for them. But it's one of those matchups where they're just gonna be well overmatched in this ball game.
Yeah, I tell you what, John. If I'm looking here through the bracket, looking for a sleeper, if it's hard to call this team a sleeper because of where they started the year and how much talent they have. South Pointe.
Oh.
You look at if they can get by Greer here, they're going to play a Greenville team that's going to air it out. Nobody's got more defensive athletes than what South Pointe has. Like, they are cut out to somewhat contain that offense possibly, of Greenville. It's just a very tough task. But they could make a run there. Another team I like that maybe the lower state could make a run would be Hartsville. I mean, they played so much tough football in that Region 6 4A there. I think they beat Lucy Beckham. AC4 is going to try to run it a lot. Same thing Hartsville's going to try to do. It's just, can you outscore them? A team that could make some noise. There's a couple of sleepers that I think could win a couple ball games in the playoffs.
I think most people would probably say you just go by chalk. Northwestern is the favorite. Can I say Greenville is my sleeper? Does that count?
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that okay?
That's fine, yeah.
Because I think Greenville's going to win over state.
Yep.
The Greenville, they just haven't. They had some tough games, some tough losses early in the year. Boy, they are good.
Yes.
Boy, they are really, really good. If they tackle, they are going to be trouble for everybody that they come across. And I'd like to see them advance through.
Yes.
I'd like them to get there because these really good teams, we talk about the Northwesterns, Catawba Ridge, South Points. And then you look at the lower state. Boy, they would have all of them would have their hands full of the Greenville team that is, if firing on all cylinders. If I can't pick Greenville, if people are upset about that, they're a 1 seed. Catawba Ridge.
Yeah, I like that. James says if South Point can score more points, state title. Yeah, I agree. They've got a really good team there for sure. But let's take a look now at 3A, John. You got it pulled up as well?
I do.
Perfect. Let's do it.
We'll start at the top. Powdersville will host Crescent in that first round game. Powdersville, we've talked about them all year. I think they cruise in this one pretty easily over Crescent. This game, a little bit more interesting. The winner of that game will face the winner of Chester hosting Blue Ridge. I like the Cyclones, though.
Two teams that want to run the ball a lot. I think Chester's a little more firepower at home, too. Tough place to play. I like the Cyclones win.
Yeah. I love that stadium. That's a great place to go to a game. Impressive facility the Cyclones have there. Moving down, you got Daniel. They will be hosting Southside in their first round game. This would be a better game if they were playing Southside.
I mean, it's not going to be close. I mean, there's some matchups here in round 1, especially in 3A, that are just going to be out of control.
Yeah,
one of them. Line's going to roll.
There's a handful of teams, Powderville one, Daniel is another, where they are going to overmatch a couple opponents, especially here in the first round. Winner of that game, they will take on the winner of Broome hosting Woodruff. Broome, a 2 seed. I like the Centurions in this game. Woodruff came to the season with some promise. They're not a bad group.
Yeah.
I like Broome a little bit more in this ball.
Yeah, Broome struggled last week, but I like the running back, the McGill kid. I think they do win this game.
Moving down from that, you got another powerhouse. You got the Clinton Red Devils. They will be hosting Travelers Rest. Again, congrats to TR getting into the playoffs.
Hope you enjoyed your game.
Have fun this week. All of that. Seniors, take it all in because it's probably going to be the last Friday night to get. Clinton, just a machine right now. Then the winner of that game will play the winner of Belton Honeyett Path hosting Walhalla.
Could be fun there. Some offenses have got some playmakers. Bryce Payne for Walhalla, Marquez Henderson there, and those guys there for BHP. Could be fun. I like BHP at home. Tough place to play there. Really, it is in Anderson County. But should be a fun matchup there.
Yeah, Walhalla's got that offense to make that game an interesting game. You always think of, okay, can this team come out and, will they be clicking? If they are, boy, you could be in for a big night here. I like the XP in this game.
Yeah.
This game could be one of the games where it is pretty tight. Moving down, you got Chapman, winners of their region. They really excelled at the back half of the season. They will get to host Emerald for their first round game. I think they can win this one pretty easily as well. Emerald, the 4 seed, getting into the playoffs. I don't see that being too much of a ball game there. They will get the winner of Seneca hosting Ren. Ren, a team with some talent. Seneca has had a very good season. This could be a very competitive ball game. I think Seneca's a better team.
Yeah.
Ren's got the best, and that name escapes me.
The quarterback? Or no, the coach? Trayvon West, the defensive back.
Trayvon West. Trayvon West is the best player on the field. I think Seneca's a little bit better of a team, though, in that ball game.
Yeah, Ren coach Jeff Tate does a great job there. He knows how to win. He won a state title 3 or 4 years ago. They're a really good coach for those guys. I just don't think they quite have firepower. They're still too young. Obviously, West had to have a huge game for them. Just committed to Wake this weekend, so hats off to Trayvon for that. Awesome stuff there. But yeah, I like Seneca to win this ball game.
Yeah, and Ren, the defense is what scares me.
Yeah,
they have a hard time stopping folks. And Seneca it matches up well for Seneca for the Bobcats in this one. That rounds out Upper State. Going into Lower State, you got a familiar face here at the top of the bracket. Camden will be hosting Loras.
Yeah.
Interesting matchup. Loras kind of faded down the stretch, though.
Yeah, losing the quarterback really hurt. They played one good game with the new guy that kind of fell apart. They've got a great defense. This could be a low-scoring game. One of those where maybe, if Loras gets lucky, has a pick 6, maybe they get a punt return touchdown, maybe they can, hang around and maybe make some noise there. But Camden, a little too much talent with White and Lane and those guys there on offense.
Yeah, getting to play at home is a big deal for them. That's a bit of a trip for Loras. It's a bit of a trip for Loras to go just about anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Camden in this first round game. They will get the winner of Philip Simmons hosting Lower Richland. Lower Richland team that had a great season last year.
Yeah, super excited about those guys and hadn't really to put it together.
Yeah, you gotta like Philip Simmons in this ball game. They're a little bit better. Their only loss, I think, was their only regional loss maybe to Beaufort.
I believe so.
Philip Simmons played pretty good football. I like them in this ball game. And then you got another 3A's got just a couple just powerhouses. I think more so than probably any other classification, at least this year. You got Dillon and Nasty Cats hosting Marlboro County. Be a fun renewal again this season of that rivalry. So it's fun. They get to play again, making up for some lost time, getting to play twice this season. But I don't know if the Bulldogs are going to have much more.
Yeah, Marlboro County hopped out to an early lead in that ballgame, throwing it well, and they kind of went away from that. Dillon came back in the second half and dominated there. Highway 9 rivalry is always a fun one. I like Dillon here, just too tough. Anthony was commenting on that. Rose said Timon didn't play against Camden. Hopefully he's back. That's what they need him, the quarterback, back there for those who have a chance. But I do like Dillon. Just the Wildcats are tough. Ty Martin, Christopher Collin, those guys, really strong running the ball. Oxenai's getting better and better.
Got
the Wildcats
on the offensive line, pushing people around. That's a lethal combination they got there. That game, the winner of that game will play winner of Brooklyn Casey hosting Hanahan. It's a pretty interesting game. I think Hanahan might be the better team in this game, the 3 seed going to the 2. What I'm worried about for BC is the health of their guys.
Yeah, and a couple guys had to leave late in the game. If they're fully healthy, I like them to win this game. If they have anybody out, that may change things there. Hanahan kind of faltered down the stretch, too. Had a couple losses late. They didn't expect to Woodland and then to what team we just mentioned, not May River. Philip Simmons, yes. Really surprised me there. I like BC, playing over there is a tough place. Obviously, it's not the Cage anymore because they got a new stadium. Still a tough place to play over there, though. If Staten plays, I think those guys win.
Yeah, I think so, too. Like BC to be able to pull this one out. Hopefully those guys are healthy. Hopefully they can play. Then moving down from that, you've got Beaufort hosting Orangeburg Wilkinson. Beaufort quietly has been right there.
Yeah, they've been in our top 5 in our polls all season long.
But yeah, I think we've had 4 or 5 pretty much all season. I like Beaufort to win this game. Another team going from 4A last year, the state championship game. Lower state champions in 4A down to 3A this year. Like Beaufort to be able to win that first round game. Then they will play the winner of Crestwood hosting Ainer. I really like this Crestwood team. I think they play really well. And Crestwood, I don't know what it is that they do well. They got a good offense. Their defense is okay, but boy, they can play.
Yeah, big win over rival Lakewood last week. And I had some injury issues a couple weeks ago with Nigel Johnson being out. I'm not sure if Ryan's here or not, but if Ryan, do you know if he's back or not? If he is, I like Crestwood to win this game, make a little run possibly too. But
yeah,
Knights are good.
And then you've got going down there, Gilbert will host Battery Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Gilbert, a team, boy, they're strong.
Yeah, they're good. Strong. They run the ball so well. Alan Hendricks and Graham Woodbury back there really get it done on the ground.
I like them in that game pretty big. And then at the bottom of the bracket, you've got Maine will be hosting Lakewood. I tell you what, I think I want to go Lakewood in this game.
They've got the talent to bring the Cease kid out wide there. I think the NC State commit's a really good player for them. Manning with Rames has been surprisingly good this year, finishing 2 in that region, ahead of both Aner and Loris, behind Dillon, of course. Greer's going to be fun, John. I mean, you got a lot of power on both sides, lower and upper. I think Lower State, you look at Dillon, Beaufort, then, of course, a team like Gilbert or Camden are probably the favorites. Upper State, obviously, Daniel is theirs to lose, followed by Powdersville, Clinton there. Question from Zach says, is there any way that Clinton could get home field if Daniel's taken out? I believe they would have to have Daniel and Powdersville go down. I want to say if they match up with Powdersville, that 1 seed actually will go to the higher one there, which will be Powdersville now. I think they have to have Powdersville and Daniel both lose to get that one. Or to get the home game there in that Upper State final. But I think that would be the only way.
Yeah.
Be the only way. Any other comments there on 3A, John, before we look at 2A?
Yeah, I think, I think it's pretty well set what we're going to see for the most part here Friday in 3A. My sleeper for 3A, and I'm not saying that they're going to win, but I think they could win more games than what people are expecting. I'll say Crestwood.
Yeah, they can make some noise down there, man. That's a good spot for them. They could certainly do some things. But let's look at 2A. I'll give you a little break if you want to read this one while you get ready to set.
It doesn't matter.
I'll do it. I'll do it this time. So we've got Abbeville hosting Columbia. Sleeper snore. They're not much there in Upper State. This next one's fun, though. We got Newberry hosting Batesburg Leesville. When we saw this matchup earlier this year, Batesburg Leesville actually won, I think, a late field goal, I believe, to win that ball game. Can they go on the road and beat Coach Jeter's team again? A young Newberry team is playing better and better. I think Batesburg Leesville is a little bit more talented right now, a little more seasoned there under Coach Lawson. I think the Panthers win this one. It should be close.
And that game is at
Newberry. It's at Newberry.
It's at Newberry?
Yep. It's going to be tough.
I like an upset.
Okay.
Upset. I think Newberry at home. If you said Batesburg is where the game is, I'd probably go Batesburg. I'll go Panthers, but I like Newberry at home.
Okay.
I like Newberry at home. I think they're going to have the energy.
Yeah.
To be able to pull that.
It's a place to play over there. It is. We got Silver Bluff at Mid Carolina. Not much down to play. Silver Bluff rolls there. Fairfield hosting 96. Fairfield Central, a really good team. They've blown a lot of guys out. Honestly, they hadn't played a lot of second halves unless there's some of the bigger competition there. The quarterback McMillan kids playing great football for them. 96 had kind of a decent year, not bad honestly. Really good linebacker there. I can't remember the guy. I think it's Jones, his last name. Player for them, but I still like Fairfield Central at home to win that one.
Yeah, the Griffins have been playing really good football. And 96 had a quietly good. They were 6-4. Mm-hmm. Pretty tough region. They're in that region with Abbeville, of course. But yeah, I think the Griffins roll, and Griffins could be dangerous.
Yeah,
down the road here in this bracket.
They could be. We got Strom Thurman hosting Chesney there. A 1-5 matchup. I like the Rebels big there, John.
Chesney has won one game this year.
There we go.
I don't think they win two.
We've got Landrum hosting Keenan. This one could be an upset here. A 4-seed Keenan. I think they technically had a higher seed in that region, had to forfeit a game due to an issue earlier in the year. They're a good football team. They played Gray fairly tough last week there for 2-3 quarters. Keenan's a good team. Landrum kind of flown under the radar a little bit. Should be a fun 2-4 matchup.
Yeah, that game, I really don't know who to pick in that one. They don't really play a ton of teams they don't have a whole lot of common opponents. It's tough to judge how that game's going to go. Could be a really good game, though.
We've got, to finish up Upper State, we've got Great Collegiate blowing the doors off Fox Creek in round 1, John. And then we've got Saluda blowing the doors off Liberty in round 1, John.
Yeah, that's going to be break out the chalk for those 2 games.
Yeah, Lower State 2A. We've got your Andrew Jackson Volunteers hosting Richmond Hardyville. Shouldn't be much of that one here in round 1. And then we've got a fun matchup here. Timberland hosting Kingstree, a Timberland team that was up early on Oceanside last week. A team that struggled really, couldn't score points early in the year. Turned on a little bit in the region play there. A Kingstree team I've been very high on all year, have kind of struggled. Had a couple nice wins, and I think they beat the Lamar team that's pretty good in 1A. They've got some talent there with Kingstree. I think they can win this game over Timberland, but it's going to be tough.
I agree with you. The Timberland offense has just not been there this year. I agree. I think King Street. I kind of like King Street in this ball game.
Yeah.
Even going on the road.
I do as well. We'll get the 1 seed Barnwell hosting Bishop England. Ho hum there. Not much for the Warhorses. Fun one here. A 2-3 matchup. Andrews Buford. An Andrews team. Their loss in their region was to Marion football team. Buford lost to Andrew Jackson and also Central, I believe, there in that region. A good football game there, I think, for those two.
Yeah, that's an interesting game. Buford was kind of around the top 5 all year. Don't expect them to lose that Central game, though. That was kind of weird for them to drop that game. I think I like Buford. I think I'm going to go Yellow Jackets. Really I think it's just a little bit better. Andrews had such a good year last year, but they're not quite. I think they're taking a little bit of a step back. I like Buford to go on the road in this one, too.
Yeah, we've got Oceanside hosting Lee Central. Not much there in that one. I feel like the Land Sharks should roll. Then Central Pageland hosting Wade Hampton, a 2-3 matchup. I think the lower seeded team, Wade Hampton, might be the better football team in this one.
I think they are, too. Central did a good job, too. They're 6-4 in the region. Play really good defense.
They did.
They're playing good defense. That's going to keep them in the ball game. But Wade Hampton, I agree with you. They're just a better team. Wade Hampton, they had the problem. Hey, they're number 3 in their region behind Barnwell and Woodland.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
They play really good football. I like Wade Hampton going to run this. It's a long trip, but I like them to go on the road in this one, too.
The last 1 seed in 2A, John, Marion hosting Sherrall, a Braves team that the Swamp Foxes put 70 on earlier this year. I think they do it again. They might not score 70, but I could see them in the 40s or 50s to a low score for the Braves. I think Marion rolls again.
Yeah, the Braves have played a little bit better, but they're not going to be.
Yeah.
I don't see this being a very competitive game.
And then to wrap up, lower state 2A, we got Woodland hosting Lake Marion. Sedarian Harrison and the Wolverines are too much. They're too much firepower. I love pulling them on defense as well. What they can do up front with Pringle really push you around. And just Harrison's just such a playmaker, so explosive. I think Woodland wins that game.
I do too. Lake Marion's had a decent season. They just don't have the offense to really keep this game. I don't think they can keep this game a game in 4th quarter.
Yeah, a couple comments. Anthony says he thinks Marlboro needs to stick with throwing the ball. They were working that last. I'm not sure what happened on that one. Zach says, mark your counter for round 2. Clinton hosting BHP. That will be a fun one for sure. 2 of the best backfields in the state. Anthony said, if it comes down to it, Abbeville, Oceanside, who you guys got? I'll tell you, Anthony, I love both those teams. But if you've seen our poll, we've had Oceanside number 1 all year. I think they're the best team in the state 2A right now. They're going to be tough for anybody to beat. Ryan says Oceanside as well.
Yeah.
Zach says keep in mind when you're picking Strom Thurman, they're getting their star running back who broke his ankle in the first game of the year. We're back in the playoff run. That's big there for the Rebels. Bossman says they also return the starting corner, getting help at the right time. No doubt about it, man. The Rebels are a good football team, and they've kind of done the thing. They got their quarterback back early in the year. Now getting the running back, cornerback back. They played some good football there, John. Who's maybe maybe a sleeper you like here in 2A? Obviously, I think the main ones here: Oceanside, Barnwell, Gray. Everybody loves those guys. Who's somebody else I think can make a run here? Is it Strom Thurman? Is it maybe a Saluda team that's got all the talent in the world? Maybe it's a Woodland team with a star athlete like Harrison. Who do you like here in 2A?
I'm not going to pick Abbeville because I've been all over them all year. But Strom's looking good. I'm going to go, and we talked a lot about Strom there. I want to talk about a team. I've talked about him a good bit. Andrew Jackson.
Yeah.
And the problem that the rest of the state's going to have, they've got home field advantage throughout the bracket.
They do.
If they keep going, that is not a place you want to come play.
Yeah.
You don't want to go way out there. Then they call it Bone Town. You don't want to go all the way out there and play those boys. That is. I'm glad they got that slot in the bracket to get that home field advantage. I'm not going to say that they're not the best team in Lower State. They probably don't deserve that. But it's just the way the region works out.
Yep.
That's great because, boy, that's going to be an equalizer having to go up and play there for anybody in Lower State. I don't know if they're going to knock off a Barnwell or an Oceanside, but getting that home field advantage is pretty cool. Yeah,
that's going to be fun. They're a tough team. That's a good pick there. I like that a lot. I just can't wait. 2A has so many contenders, I feel like. I've listed off 3 or 4 teams right there. Didn't even mention Abbeville, a team that's getting healthy at the right time. Strom Thurman, the defense is great. If they get something out of the offense, they're going to be great. Saluda was number 1 in the poll for a long time. There's a lot of contenders in 2A, John, who can make some noise for the playoffs.
2A is going to be a lot of fun. I think Oceanside's head and shoulders above everybody.
Yep.
But the rest of the bracket is going to be really, really fun to watch.
Yep. Any more comments here? Jarrell says Saluda. I like that pick, Jarrell. Deron Harris says Fairfield. That's a team with an explosive offense. They can make some noise,
too. They can make a big run.
I like that. Zach said if Saluda runs the ball like he did against Sturman, they can beat anybody. That's exactly right, man. And that D-line, too, for Saluda.
They need to run the ball. They need to give it to 2 more is what they need to do. If you want to beat people, I mean, he's going to be Mathis, I believe his name.
Yep, Tyler Mathis.
You give him the ball. I'd be hard-pressed that they're going to play a team that is going to have somebody on the field that's quicker than him.
Yeah.
Give him the ball as much as you can.
No doubt about it, John. Let's take a look now at 1A. You got that put up, or do you want me to go through it?
I've got it.
Let's look at 1A now.
So I want to say, before we get into the bracket, on my way here, I know where Southside Christian is. I did not realize, and really all 3, Christchurch and St. Joe's are super close together.
Oh, yeah. They're on top of each other almost.
Yeah, I did not realize that. I mean, that is 3 of the best schools in 1A football. I mean, you can throw a rope around those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. On the way here, I was like, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of those guys, you got Christchurch at the top of the bracket. They will be hosting MacB in their first-round game. They'll roll in that game. MacB, you do a great job with Peaches. It's going to be a tough game. Tough game on the football field, though, Friday. Calhoun County will be hosting Dixie. They'll get the win, or they'll play the winner of Christchurch, MacB. Dixie getting that odd 5 seed in that first round game. Expect Calhoun County to win that ball game. They were 2 seed there. Now you got Louisville coming in. They will get to host Hunter Kenner Tyler. It's a mouthful.
Yeah, the lone loss to Andrew Jackson. Oh, they played great football. That was a good ball game too against the Volunteers. The Lions are tough, man. They everybody talks about we've had the same stuff talk about Christchurch and St. Joe's and Southside. Louisville, the team in Upper State 1A, they can certainly make some noise, be a factor.
Absolutely, really like Louisville. They're gonna be a fun team to watch. Certainly expecting them to win pretty handily in this ball game. Denmark Oilers we talked about. They will be hosting McCormick in their first round game.
A fun one there. H.N. Durant can really run it well from McCormick. Denmark Oilers got a high-powered offense as well. I think Denmark Oilers at home wins this ball game, so that'll be a fun one, a fun 3-4 matchup there on Friday night.
Yeah, and McCormick, you're never gonna get a game out of those guys.
No,
they
play tough.
They can play. Defense a little bit lacking this year, but yeah, I like Denmark Oilers in that game, that first round matchup. Underneath them, you got Wagner Sally will be hosting Ware Shoals. Wagner Sally, a region champ. You gotta like those guys in this game. Went undefeated, went 6-0 in region play, and not an easy region.
Not at all. Not at all.
6-0 in the region play. That's pretty impressive. I like them to pull off that first round win as well. Then the winner of that game, they will host, or I keep saying, I get so crossed up on this. C.A. Johnson will be hosting Rich Spring Minetta. The Hornets playing pretty good football. Their only loss in region play was to Louisville.
Yeah.
And they surprised me a little bit. There were a couple games. I didn't expect them to beat Whitmire.
Yeah.
They beat Whitmire. C.A. Johnson playing pretty good football here late in the season.
Yeah, Coach Dean does a great job there. RSM under Coach Smith is a little bit down from the last couple of years. They had to replace a lot of pieces there. I like C.A. Johnson at home to win this one, but should be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I think C.A. Johnson, I don't know if they win handily, but I think they're certainly the better team, though, in this matchup. Then you got Southside Christian will be hosting Blackville Hilda. Southside Christian, boy, they are
tough.
They very easily could have won last week. Very good ball game there against Christchurch. Expect them to bounce back here. I think they get back on the winning ledger on Friday nights. The Whitmire team that we've enjoyed talking about this year, they will get to host St. Joseph's their first round game. That is this is a 3-3 matchup. That's a tough draw for your first round game.
It is.
You get it at home.
It is. Yeah, it's a fun place. I mean, that's an interesting place to play ball game there at Whitmire. In between the center block white walls down there and down there at Whitmire is really interesting. Coach Campbell did a great job in his first year there. St. Joe's, I think a few more athletes out wide. I think they win that ball game, but should be a fun one there for the Wolverines.
Yeah, I like St. Joe's. This team, St. Joe's, they're coming off they crushed McCormick, a playoff team last week, 52-12. St. Joe's, they're just in a tough region.
They are.
They're in what I would say is arguably the best region.
Yeah.
In the state.
Yeah.
Are in classification, and they're number 3 in it, so they're really good. I think they win this game. Whitmire, though, being at home, got a chance.
Yep.
They got a chance. That will so that wraps up Upper State. Actually, you go down the Lower State side of the bracket. You got Johnsonville will host Military Magnet. The Flashes have had a great season.
Undefeated for the year, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. I feel like they've kind of flown under our radar.
Yeah.
We just haven't talked about them a ton. I think they roll. They roll in this first round game. They have home field advantage throughout the bracket if they continue to win, and that's well deserved for those guys. They certainly deserve that. Winner though will face the winner of Bamberg Earhart and Latta.
Yeah, the Vikings have had a good year. They had a couple games that they thought they could have won and kind of let them get away, later on in the year. But I like Bamberg Earhart to win this one. I feel like they're still not as good as some of the other Bamberg teams they've had the past couple of years. But they're always tough. I mean, they've got the Buckman kid there. They got Crosby running the show at quarterback as well. Bamberg's always tough. I think they win that ball game.
Yeah, they're not as flashy of a group as you typically see out of Bamberg, but they're still playing good defense. Yep. I expect them to win this game. But nonetheless, great season for the Vikings.
It is.
They were incredibly fun to watch at the beginning of the season. They were shutting everybody out, giving up no points. It's a great season for the Vikings. Good to see them do well. Then you got Lamar. They will be hosting Allendale Fairfax. The Lamar team that I feel like we just haven't talked about a ton either.
They're great.
They've been undefeated in region play in a tough region.
They're great.
Region with Ladd and Lakeview.
Yep.
And Hamilton.
They're a very good football team. They are. McManus, the quarterback's done a great job. Obviously Coach Pearson's first year has done a great job there. The Silver Foxes can make a deep run. I think they're one of my under the radar. Now you can't say Sleeping Bear are 1 seed, but they're a team that can make some noise.
Yeah. I like Lamar in this game. You never count out the Silver Fox.
Never.
You can never do it. This is a good game here. You got Baptist Hill. Started out really high. They kind of fought a little. I wouldn't say they fell off, but Baptist Hill will be hosting Scotts Branch in their first round game. I think they roll in this game. Baptist Hill is a good team.
Talking about teams are tough to prepare for. In 1A, you usually think a lot of wing tee, wishbone, run the ball a lot. They spread it out. So tough to prep for that in practice. I like Baptist Hill to win this game. It should be close.
Underneath them, you've got Estill, who has just exploded onto the scene. They will host Hanna Pamplico. This is a tough one for
not a 4 seed you want to see, because we just mentioned a tough prep week. Same thing, Hanna Pamplico. They want to spread you out and throw it around too. You don't see a lot of that in 1A. Hanna Pamplico's playing better this time of year. Later in the year, they came back last week, made a tough game against Lakeview, couldn't win it, but they came back and put some points on the board there. I think Estill wins this game. They had a weird situation last week. They had a no contest called. A little skirmish broke out in the third quarter there. Kind of weird situation, but they play great football all year. They're one loss to Wade Hampton. I think Estill wins this ball game.
I think so too.
And if they don't, they're shutting down the school. So whenever that run is over, that's it for Estill. So hopefully they keep it going for a little bit.
And I think they can. But this could be the best game in 1A here in week 1, because I think this could be a lot of points scored in this game.
Yep.
Estill's played great defense, but I don't know if they've played a team like Hanna Pamplico yet.
Yeah.
And Hanna Pamplico, they've been putting a lot of points on some really good teams. I think this could be a really, really fun game here. You got winner of that game will face the winner of Carvers Bay St. John's. Carvers Bay getting to host that 2-3 matchup there. Like Carvers Bay in that game, their one region loss was to Johnsonville.
Yep.
Not like you can't blame them for that one. So I like Carvers Bay to win that ball game.
Mm-hmm.
They will play, it's Carvers Bay St. John's. And then the last little bracket here we got in 1A, you got Cross will host East Clarendon. Cross, the winners of their region, and their team, they're 8-2. I feel like Cross really hasn't been talked about. They're in that region with Baptist Hill. They won the region, ran the table in that region. Got to take Cross a little bit serious here, I think.
Cross has been a team that I've been saying last week, so we're not sleeping games in 1A. Santori Jones, Montgomery, they're running the ball as well. Really good athletes down there for the Trojans. I think they can make some noise. I was at round 2 matchup against Lakeview Branch. One of our games of the week. We were super tough. But they've got a chance, I think, to make a run here. I think the Trojans do.
I think so, too. I think they win this game pretty big as well. And then at the bottom of the bracket, we talked about Lakeview, Whale Branch. That game's going to be a great game.
Mm-hmm.
Do like Lakeview at home.
I do, too. Any other comments on 1A, John, before we move on to wrapping up the show here momentarily?
I think the only thing I'm going to say, I think my sleeper... Oof. I know Bamberg is a sleeper.
They've got a chance to make some noise. I think so too. Johnsonville doesn't have a signature win. I feel like really. They're not another, so you can't take that away from them because, you don't win 9 games by accident.
Yeah.
So interesting to see what happens there. Comment from Daedrian says, doesn't think there's another school that passes it as much as Louisville does at the 1A level. Also pounded out a run back over 1,000 yards. Yeah, they got tons of playmakers. Ian Grisham's a great job at quarterback there. Coach Bulwark's done a great job in his time there in Louisville. Awesome to see, John. Do give a quick shout out to the SCSA schools. SCSA playoffs starting this week as well. 4A, Augusta Christian versus Hammond. Porter-Gaud, Heathwood Hall. Porter Newman, Lawrence Manning, and our other games. Trinity, Collegiate at Ben Lippen. 3A, PD Academy has already won by a forfeit over Hilton Head Prep, so that's a win for the Golden Eagles there. First Baptist taking on Pinewood. Florence Christian, Hilton Head Christian, and then John Paul II and Wilson Hall in 3A. In 2A, Thomas Sumter taking on Williamsburg. Bethesda taking on Spartanburg Christian, Andre Prep versus Buford Academy, and Northside Christian versus Collegiate Prep. In 1A, Kings versus Lee Academy, Patrick Henry versus St. John's Christian, Clarendon Hall versus Calhoun, and Dorchester versus Thomas Hayward. Then an 8-man, Lawrence versus Holly Hill, Jefferson Davis versus Richard Wynn, Warlord versus Faith Christian, and Holy Trinity versus W.W. King. Actually got a SCSA preview we're working on with a couple guys who cover SCSA more than us, hopefully, to get that knocked out in the next couple days. But we'll see how that goes. John, you're looking now at our polls, our last polls for the playoff start, or look at the pick'em results?
Let's do polls.
The polls. Let's look here first. Let's do 5A, 4A first, John. We'll do another set of polls after the state championships. This will be our last one, I think, for now. Looking at 5A, we got Dutch Fork 1, Sumter 2, TL Hanna 3, Hillcrest 4, Gaffney 5. 5A was tough this week, John. A lot of moving parts there, but I think we all kind of settled on the same 5 teams there. Actually, Lexington had it also received the vote, but tough there in 5A. Then in 4A, South Florence 1, AC Florida 2, Northwestern 3, West Florence 4, and Greenville comes in at 5 this week there. A lot of contenders in 4A, but I think we got it. I think we got it narrowed down pretty well there on our top 5 of both those.
I tell you what, if South Florence has an off night, I think any of those other 4 schools could knock them off.
Yeah, I agree. Looking down at 3A, we've got Daniel, Dillon, Clinton, Powdersville, Beaufort. I feel like that poll hadn't changed in.
Yeah, we can etch that one in stone.
Like. Yeah, not much there. Then in 2A, Oceanside Collegiate 1, Barnwell 2, Woodland 3, Great Collegiate 4, Strong Pepper 5. Also 2 votes, Abbeville and Marion. We were all kind of all over the place here in 2A, John. But like we said when we looked at the bracket, a lot of contenders in that 2A class, it seems like.
And I really wanted to put Andrew Jackson.
Another team that could have got votes.
Well.
Yeah.
But, I've got my 4 and 5 are Strom Thurmond and Abbeville, and I can't take them out.
Yeah.
AJ's my 6. They're my 6, and Aaron Gray's probably my 7.
Yeah.
But that is, we're talking about that through the bracket. Oceanside is here, but gosh, everybody else. That's gonna be so much fun going through that bracket.
It is. Then in 1A, Christchurch gets all the first place votes now. Finally, tied for 2nd, Estill in Louisville. 4th, Johnsonville, and 5th, Southside Christian there in 1A. Going to be a lot of fun to follow that 1A class as well, especially in the upper state. Just give a quick shout out to our friends here before we look at our pick'em results for the season. Security Advantage Federal Credit Union, whatever your personal journey, they're there to offer your smart financial solutions. Join today at SecurityAdvantageSU.com. Window Making, Thrive Life, member NCUA. The Georgia Agency open enrollment is here. Check them out if you need insurance for yourself or for your company. GeorgiaAgency.net. Bradley Wayne, Richard, and the crew there. Kona offer a synergistic approach for the spine, skeletal system, nervous system, and supporting structure, meaning total quality care for optimal health. Relocation to Spartanburg, Duncan, and Greenville. Kona.care. And then Founders Federal Credit Union. Get your head in the air. Founders Federal Credit Union. Training financial skills with a wide array of financial tools and services. Visit lastjoinfounders.com today. So if you qualify for membership or last Founders Federal Credit Union. And then Hanna Engineering brings you our pick'em contest every week, John. Let's just go ahead and do the overall winner first. If we do the weekly, you may know who won the overall. So let's set up the overall here. Our winner of our 2022 regular season pick'em contest is Jimmy S. with 86. Hats off to him. I think he was leading it for almost the whole way, it feels like, honestly, there.
Yeah.
Corey T and Sherman C with 81 in second place there. Dale B, Ryan F with 80 for tie for 4. Tied 6, Brandon B, Charlie L, Bradley R all at 79. Tied 9th, Corey R, Richard E at 78. And then tied 11th, Tom K, David C, Rashodi B all at 77. Drell and I tied at 84. Johnny right there at 83. We were all neck and neck. A lot of fun. And if you guys haven't been a part of it, we'll be doing it for the playoffs as well. So definitely get in for that. We'll have a separate winner for that. So definitely hop into our playoff pick'em. And then our Week 10 winners, John, we had 4 11s. And I thought it was a tough week there. But Sherman C, David C, Richard E, and Coach T all came out with 11. Tie for 5th, Hunter A and Jimmy S at 10. Tie for 7th, Lance L, Ben B, Dale, Bradley, Chris, Cam, Jeff, Charlie, Corey, and Dexter all at 9. John, you and I had 9. Drell had 8. A lot of high scores last week, man. This has been a lot of fun. I can't wait to see the playoffs bring, because maybe not this week might be the toughest ones to pick, but when you get to round 2, round 3, round 4, it's going to be very tough to make some picks. So definitely congrats to our Week 10 leaders, and congrats to our overall winner, Jimmy S, as well.
Very nice.
Got a special prize coming your way, Jimmy. I'll connect with you on the internet via email here in a couple of days to get that locked up, John. Anything else you want to mention before we kind of wrap up for the show? Any big news I can think of? I can't think of anything right now.
I just want to thank everybody that follows us and listens to us. Whether you listen once a year or every week, really, really appreciate it. Everyone that has come up and has waved it to us or said, hey, love what you guys do. Coaches, parents, players, we love it. We love it. That means so much to us. We started doing this just to really have an excuse to go to a high school game, more or less. And to see that it's grown and not only, hey, it's fun for us to do, but that other people are watching it and enjoying it and appreciating it. That means so much to us. So I want to say thank you to everybody that has tuned in ever at all, even if you even come in and talk trash. We love that too.
Yes, for sure.
Love all of it. Really, really appreciate it.
For sure. Do you want to give a shout out to our friend Dale, who sent us this fancy Bluffton hat right here? Love to get that on the show. That's really cool. We're working on some more stuff as well for the room here. But did have a comment from Zach said, I want to shout out that Bryson James, Mr. Football finalist, should be a North-South Trombone All-Star. Yeah, that's funny how that worked out, but we don't vote on that stuff. So I do want to give a shout out to Players of the Week though. Danny and Martin from Greer, Cooper Tankersley at Wade Hampton, and then Logan Jones at Lakeview. Shout out to those guys. Check us out Friday Night, guys. Friday Night Spaces on Twitter. A lot of fun, a lot of great playoff action this week. Definitely hop in there and let us know what your thoughts are on the game that you went to. John and I, maybe Hillcrest Byrnes. We're not 100% sure. We're looking at that still. So let you know that on Twitter. Check us out there on Instagram, Movin Chains. Facebook, Movin the Chains. You see us here as well. Definitely share, like, subscribe our page. We do live every Tuesday around 7 o'clock. We'll be back next Tuesday for round 2. MovinTheChains.com, our website there. Check out our podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, etc. Drill, I do a recap show on Sunday that'll come out there. And get on our message board on our website right now. Get in the locker room on there and talk some trash about making your picks. So definitely hop on there and do that. But for John Epps, I'm Kevin Thomas. This has been our round 1 playoff preview show here on Movin the